Oh, I'm a bit of a mongrel, I'd say. My father has Spanish blood, my mom has Chinese blood, but I'm from the Philippines because that's where I was born and spent a large part of my adolescence there. Early adolescence anyway. And then I moved here, so I'm Australian as well. All of these kind of mesh together and form the fabric of my cultural background. So, yeah. While there are little sub-pockets of people trying to work towards change, I don't think we, as a society maybe, or as just in terms of where we're at in history, we don't tend to find ourselves doing revolutions anymore. I think the battles we do are kind of more diffuse, more small scale. So you have in the literary world that I'm part of, you have people like Maxine Aniva Clark, whom I love, and she just writes about blackness and being a woman of color. But I wouldn't say that she spearheads activist groups and protests. So I think I can't actually directly answer that question. There isn't a single movement or group of people that I admire, but I admire the work, kind of the smaller scale, the individual work of people like Maxine, people like Benjamin Law and Tony Ayres, both of Asian backgrounds. Tony Ayres, the filmmaker, Ben Law, the writer. I admire people like Miranda Tapsell, the Aboriginal actor, who has especially recently become really outspoken about race issues. I think all of those things may seem like they're really small and don't really do much, but I think taken together, these little battles all add up to a makeshift revolution rather than a kind of Martin Luther King-esque, movement of thousands of people coming together to do a thing, a single thing. Because racism, along with most kinds of prejudice these days, have become less explicit. I find that they're less overt, they're more insidious, they're more subtle. And so, notions like colorblindness are an example of that. You don't refuse to let a person of color sit next to you on the bus, but when they do sit next to you, you look at them funny and think, oh, where are they really from? That's still racist, but it's not as overt as it used to be. So I think matching that turn towards the subtle in terms of how the prejudice happens, I think maybe we people trying to oppose that are also taking a more subtle approach, because we run the risk of being labeled the angry minority. It's a really easy way to discount someone's argument by saying, you're being too passionate, you're being too emotional, can you chill out? Just chill out, there's not actually anything wrong. I just asked you where you were from, why are you getting angry? So instead of getting angry, I think what we're doing is, kind of quieter things, more intellectual things, or we try to, instead of trying to fight the system in a really loud way, what we do is we just start our own projects. Ascension is an example of that. You're just, instead of trying to say, hey Cosmo, why do you always publish white women? Why are they all so skinny? Instead of, trying to do that, because people have tried, and I think we will continue to try, but alongside that, we're also fighting the battle in our own way, on a smaller scale, and saying, hey, we'll just start our own magazine called Ascension. And in that way, we will rectify this imbalance. And once we, keep going and people start taking notice of us, then maybe the bigger kind of publications will also take notice, and slowly, things start changing. Because there's only, I guess, so many bloody revolutions, like literally bloody revolutions, that we can have before we all get exhausted. And so it's also an active self-preservation. We preserve our energies and fight and contribute how we can.